welcome. My name is Maria, and today's yoga class is for trapped gas and bloating. So this was a request from someone on Instagram actually who asked me to add this to the list. So here it is. Thank you for everyone who supports me. So once again, if you do have any requests, feel free to DM me, contact me, comment, whatever you want. But today's class is inspired by someone who requested it. So today's class is going to be short, but we're going to be focusing a lot on twist, forward folds, and just taking it easy and letting our bodies relax a little bit to try to see if we can get some of that trapped gas out and just where it needs to be. So all you're going to need today is something comfy and just a spot to practice on. It doesn't even need to be a mat, but if you have one, that's great. And then if you have any blocks, feel free to bring them onto the mat with you. We're not always going to need them, and I can cue without them, but I can also cue with them. So up to you, choice is yours, wherever you are in your yoga journey. Hopefully this will accommodate most levels. All right, so we're going to start in a tabletop position, hands stacked underneath the shoulders, knees stacked underneath the hips. We're just going to start with some gentle back movements to get our belly stretching and to get our chest a little bit more open. So start to drop your belly towards the earth, lift the tailbone up just slightly, and then try to open up through the chest. So maybe try to send and imagine sending that chest up and through the arms. Now lift your neck and ears away from your shoulder tips, or just try to pull your shoulder tips away from your ear. If this feels uncomfortable, feel free to come out of it a little bit, or just feel free to drop your belly and then notice how that feels. Take a big inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to tip your tailbone down towards that space between your knees, tuck your chin, and then maybe pull your belly button up towards your spine. Let the exhale come out completely. And do that a few more times. So on your next inhale, start to drop the belly towards the earth, lift the gaze, and maybe lift the chest. And then as you exhale, gaze towards your belly button, pull your belly button up and in, tuck the tailbone down. So keep doing a few more just like that, moving with your own breath. So on the inhales, as slow or as fast as you want. And then on the exhales, exhale completely. And try to breathe in and out through the nose here as you inhale and as you exhale. So 2 more just like that. Inhales take you to cow pose. Exhales take you to cat pose, rounding like a Halloween cat. All right, and then whenever you're ready, just walk your hands back. Feel free to stay on your knees for this, but just roll out your wrists a little bit. Interlace your fingertips and make a fist, and then just draw circles or draw little figure eights with that fist. And then another option is just to take both hands and then bring the backs of the hands together and then flip them up towards the top, flip so the palms touch, and flip down. So we can do that a few more times if you want to. So flip towards the back of the hands, then fingertips towards you, then up, then flip towards the palms touch, then fingertips down, then backs of the hands touch. So whatever movement you want there, we're going to return back to a tabletop position just for a moment here. We're going to tuck the toes under, lift the knees just a sec, take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, start to lift the hips up high, straighten out through the knees, but keep a slight bend in those knees. Snuggle your ears in between your arms, maybe your biceps or near your shoulders. And then your heels can be lifted here, knees can be bent. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. And then slowly just walk your feet or tiptoe them, or just step your right foot up and then your left foot up, just so that they meet the backs of your hands. It doesn't really matter, and the choice is yours how you want to get there. We're going to come into a forward fold uttanasana, and that's where we'll meet. Bend your knees here a little deeper than maybe you normally would, and just allow your chest to rest over your thighs here. Feel free to come out of it, either step up or just come into a little squat if this gets a little heavy on your backs of the legs or the glutes, but try to press equally down through all 4 corners of the feet here and spread the toes wide. Maybe gaze back in between your legs, crown of the head towards the earth. Shake your head yes and shake your head no. Take one more big breath in here, in through the nose. Big exhale out through the nose. And then slowly bend your knees even deeper, and then slowly lift your torso up off of your thighs, keeping your chin tucked here as you roll up to standing, coming into a mountain pose. Feel free to readjust here to come into a mountain pose, either feet touching or bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, whatever feels comfortable. Take a big inhale in, but this time try to breathe into the belly a little bit more. And we're going to practice that a couple more times just here in mountain pose. As we feel our feet grounding to the earth, maybe imagine that there's a string at the top of your head that's pulling you up to try to lengthen through the back of the spine or the back of the neck. And then on your next few inhales, imagine that you're expanding your torso like a balloon, bringing oxygen into all of your organs, into your entire digestive system. As you exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine and try to exhale all the air out, pull your ribs in. On your next inhale, same thing, big inhale, inflate like a balloon, but imagine the breath going to your digestive system. And then as you exhale, completely let go of all the air, tuck your ribs in, tuck the belly button in towards your spine. All right, now relax the breath. You can let go of that controlled breathing. From here, we're going to move the feet a little bit more together just so they support each other. We're going to do a little bit of a balance pose. So option to stay here and bend this left knee. So we're going to start with the left knee. So just bend it slightly. And then from here, you're going to lift the arms up, big inhale. And then as you exhale, twist towards the left side. So left arm comes back behind you, right arm comes out in front of you. And then from here, you can stay here. Option to lift that left leg up if that feels good. And then feel free to grab it. Maybe flex the left toes back to help you find a little bit more balance or consistency or stability here. And then option to gaze back behind you. So take a big inhale. If you need to place that left foot down, that's fine. If you wobble, just try to embrace that. And then one more big inhale, one more big exhale. And then slowly drop that left foot, return your torso back towards center, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So pop that right knee, and you're going to just stick it out a little bit. On your next inhale, lift the arms up high, inflate everything, expand your ribs, breathe into the low belly, the low back. And then as you exhale, twist towards the right side, left arm comes out in front, right arm comes back behind, coming into a T, twisted T. From here, option 2, lift that right leg up if you'd like. Place that left arm on to that right thigh if that feels good, or that left hand. And then option to gaze back behind you for an added stability challenge, just shifting your gaze. Take another big inhale and exhale, and then slowly return that right foot to the ground, or if it was on the ground, just straighten it out. And then return your torso back towards center. Take your hands, your fingertips to the back of your head. Take a big inhale, expand your elbows out and back. Maybe take your gaze up. And then as you exhale, bring your elbows out in front of you, tuck your chin. Do a couple more just like that. Big inhale, take the elbows out and back. Lift your chest. And then as you exhale, elbows out in front of your face, tuck your chin, round through. Maybe feel your shoulders separating here, your shoulder blades. On your next inhale, out and back, elbows, and as you exhale, forward, tucking your chin, and then stay here. From here, you're going to take the feet out a little bit wider than together, so maybe hip width apart or a little wider. Bend your knees, and then slowly start to sink your hips back, almost coming into a chair pose, just bending at your hips. Just try to take your elbows towards your knees. So see where that gets you. And then hopefully you'll end up in a forward fold. Just relax the arms. Knees are still a little bent. Plant the hands in front of the feet, and then step the left foot back towards the back of the mat. If you have blocks, feel free to bring them to help raise the floor up a little bit towards you. Honestly, if you have any book or a stack of cards or even a water bottle that you want to bring here too, that is completely fine, or even a chair. But otherwise, feel free to just have your fingertips or your plant planted next to your right foot. You're going to try to sink your hips, and then option to drop that left knee onto the ground, coming into a low lunge. On your next inhale, start to twist towards the right side, lifting that right arm up towards the sky. And then take a big exhale here, and then twist a little bit more. So one more big breath in this twist. Big breath out through the nose. Imagine that someone is grabbing your right arm, bring it back behind you, and then push up with your left arm. Option to have the back knee lifted here, or to keep it down on the ground. Take your arms up towards the sky, big inhale in, And then as you exhale, twist towards the right, left arm comes back out in front of you, right arm comes back behind you, coming into a twist. One more big inhale here, and an exhale. And then on your next inhale, lift both arms towards the sky, and then turn your torso back towards center. Place your hands back to frame your right foot, and then you're gonna step the right foot back to meet the left. If your knees are lifted, feel free to drop them. We're just going to return to a gentle tabletop position here for a moment. Tuck the back toes under, lift the knees, take a big inhale, and then take a big exhale and lift the hips up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. Knees can be bent here, heels can be lifted. Shrug the shoulders up if that feels good, just to elongate through the torso. And then from there, just step your feet or tiptoe towards the back of your hands. So you're going to meet in a forward fold once again. Step that right foot back or slide it back towards the back of the mat. Option to drop that back right knee. Place that right hand next to that left foot. Once again, option to grab your block, bring it on here, whatever height you need. Just make sure that you can take deep, full breaths. And then on your next inhale, start to lift the left fingertips up towards the sky. Take a big exhale and maybe try to twist a little bit more as you exhale all the air out. Maybe the inhales, you come out of it a little bit more. Exhales, you twist a little bit more. Just allow your breath to naturally move you in this movement. One more big breath in. One more big breath out through the nose. Push off with that right fingertip and imagine someone is grabbing your left arm back behind you. Take a big inhale in up towards the sky once again. And if you drop that back knee, maybe here you feel a little bit more confident to lift it, or feel free to just stay on the ground. We can do this either way. So arms are lifted. Take a big exhale, take a big inhale. Just another big breath cycle. And then wherever you are on your next exhale, start to twist towards the left side. And then bring your left arm back behind you, right arm out in front into a T. Keep breathing here, reconnecting to that breath. And maybe just focusing on the sound of your breathing for a few breaths. On your next inhale, lift both arms up towards the sky and turn your torso back towards center. Place your hands to frame that left foot. From here, you're just gonna slide that left foot back to meet the right. So coming into a tabletop position. Once again, take your time. Once you're ready, you're gonna stack your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Lift your left arm up towards the sky. Take a big inhale in, maybe breathe in towards the left side a little bit more. Keep breathing in and out. It doesn't have to be any one breath per movement. Whenever you're ready, on your next exhale, thread that left arm underneath that right arm pit or that right arm. Place your left ear on the ground if that feels good. Option to leave that right arm, right hand in front of your face, or option to walk that right hand towards the front of the mat or towards the front of wherever you are. Another option is to walk your right hand to the opposite corner of the mat. Just notice how your body feels. Notice any sensations. Notice what the sensations are. Is it pain? Is it tension? Is it stretching? Is it relief? Is it an opening? If it's pain, feel free to come out of whatever you're in. You don't have to be in that, but if it's not pain and it's just a little bit uncomfortable, just notice and explore what that is. All right, and then whenever you're ready, bring your right hand back underneath your right shoulder, so in front of that face, and then push yourself up with that right hand, unthread that left arm and bring it underneath the left shoulder. And then on your next inhale, lift the right arm up towards the sky. And whenever you're ready, if it is on that next exhale, thread that right arm underneath that left arm and bring the right ear towards the sky or towards the ground. Left hand can stay here, maybe lift the elbow up, and maybe from here, maybe push open a little bit more to twist. Another option is to walk the fingertips up towards the sky, or walk the fingertips up towards the front of the mat. And the third option is to walk the fingertips towards the opposite corner of the mat. Take a few moments here just to reconnect with that sound of your breath, but also any sensations that you're feeling.
Making sure you're taking deep, full breaths into the entire torso. As you exhale, pull the belly button in. Try to bring the ribs in as you let go of all that air. Whenever you're ready, bring that left arm back underneath that left shoulder. Use it to push up, returning to a tabletop position. And then we're going to bring the knees in, tuck the toes under. We're just going to lift here for a second, and then your option to come into a downward facing dog if you'd like, or option to just tiptoe your feet. We're going to crawl the feet up to a forward fold position just for our last final one. Walk your heels and feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Sometimes this helps. Maybe your toes are 45-degree angle out or a little less, heels tucked in a little bit. And then start to sink your hips towards your heels. Once you get to a certain point, maybe your heels start to lift. That's completely fine. Fingertips can be on the ground or on the block. Just finding a Malasana pose. If you're here, you can sit on the block. And this is a pose that helps grounding. This is a position that I think a lot of people know is traditionally being a good position to use the bathroom. So we're just going to breathe here through it. So fingertips either on the ground or on your block. Interlace or bring your elbows in between your knees and try to push your knees in towards your elbows and your elbows out towards your knees wherever you are. Option to bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, palms touch, and then hands to heart center or thumbs to heart center. Try to imagine lifting your tailbone back, but not too much. We're not going to try to round too much in this position. So if your heels need to lift here for your back to be straight, for you to take deep, full breaths, try to come out of it a little bit and lift your heels. And then release that grip that you have in between your arms and your knees. And then we're just going to stay here for a couple more breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, but imagining the breath filling up the entire torso this time. All of those organs, the entire digestive system. One more big breath in. Big breath out. And then bring your fingertips back behind you, and you're almost going to crab walk your hands back until you can comfortably place your hips, your sitting bones onto the floor, and then extend your legs out in front of you. Take your time here. We're just going to come into a few final resting positions. So scoot your hips forward, bring your elbows onto the ground, and gently make your way to a laying down position. Bringing your head down last. And then from here, bring your knees in towards your chest. Squeeze your knees in towards your chest and maybe hug your knees. This is wind release pose, as the name suggests. A lot of people have experienced a lot of wind release with this pose. So try to focus on grounding your lower back onto the earth. So if that means maybe your knees push out a little bit and maybe you're only able to grab them with your hands or your shins and you're able to still pull that back, that's completely fine. But try to imagine grounding down through your low back as well as breathing into the entire torso here. So having those two things as your priority. Take another big inhale here. Big exhale. And then release. Bring your hands onto your knees and allow your knees to come forward a little bit. And then maybe draw some circles with your knees, maybe having your arms guide or maybe having your knees guide or your hips guide this time. And then reverse the circles. But imagine just keep the lower back pressed into the mat here. It can lift at times, but the point is to have it touch the ground a little bit on every rotation as well. Just trying not to round too much through the back. All right, and then release your feet, the soles of the feet to the ground. And you're gonna bring your right knee in towards your chest, so kind of like a half wind release pose. Extend that left leg straight out, and then grab your right knee with your left hand. From here, you're going to either bring that right arm, right hand to the ground beneath you, or bring it out into a T, so a half T, just straight out from your right side. Slowly guide that right knee towards the left side. And it doesn't have to touch the ground. If you have a block here, that's great. Bring that underneath you, wherever, maybe under your shin or under your thigh or under your foot, just to kind of have it rest. Or another option is to bring that left knee and tuck it under that right, almost like you're crossing both legs on top of one another. And then allow your right shoulder to relax on the ground. Bring both of your arms out into a T. So left arm to the left, right arm out to the right. Adjust any way you need to. Maybe you extend your legs a little lower, or maybe you bring them a little bit more tucked in, but whatever feels good here. Find whatever that is for you. And then when you're there, take a few deep breaths. Breathing in as best as you can, breathing in slowly in through the nose, noticing that breath traveling into your belly, those organs, your intestines, the digestive system. As you exhale, maybe try to find a little softening, a little more relaxing in this pose. One more big breath in. One more big breath out through the nose. And then bring both knees in towards your chest. And then ground your hips on the ground so that both knees are lifted up. Uncross your knees and bring both soles of the feet onto the ground. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So extend that right leg out in front of you to bring that left knee, tuck it in, squeeze it in. And then grab that left knee with your right hand. Left arm can come out beside you. And then slowly guide that right knee over or that left knee over towards the right side. Your left hip might lift here, and then option to use blocks or whatever you need, or option to also just tuck that right knee and bend it behind that left knee to help support a little bit here. Bring both arms out into a T if that feels good. And once again, taking in big deep breaths in through the nose and noticing that breath traveling through the lungs, expanding through the diaphragm and bringing new oxygen into the belly and those organs. 2 more big breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And then whenever you're ready, slowly bring both knees up towards the sky, or in towards your chest, if that is another way, and then ground both hips to the ground. And then uncross the legs, bring the soles of the feet onto the ground. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like, or feel free to join me in the last position, which is one of my favorites. So bring both knees towards the right side just for a moment. Maybe make a pillow with your left arm, and then make your way up as slowly as you'd like. No rush here. Push yourself up with that top arm. And we'll meet in a tabletop position once again. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and bring the knees out as wide as the mat, or if you're not using a mat, bring the knees out wider than the hips. Bring the toes to touch back behind you. And here is where, if you have a pillow, this is a great opportunity to use it. Place it back behind your toes, and you'll just sit on that. If you have blocks, they work just as well. We can even stack one on top of here, but you get the idea. And so from here, we're going to sink the hips back towards the heels. They don't have to touch, so even if they're floating up in the air and they're not even touching any of your props, that's completely fine. Start to walk your fingertips towards the front, and then option to drop the elbows onto the ground, option to drop the forehead onto the ground, and relax the elbows, the heart space towards the earth. Feel free to try to sink your hips a little bit closer to your heels if that allows. Another option here, if this isn't the sensation that you're looking for, is maybe to just bring the knees in together, sink the hips. And this is a variation of child's pose, also known as rock pose. Bring the forehead onto the ground, tuck the chin just a little bit, and then the arms can actually just sweep back behind you so that The backs of the hands are on the ground, but your hands are by your toes or your feet, your fingertips. Relax. The elbows, roll the shoulders forward. Just finding a few more moments of stillness. Keeping the focus on breathing into the entire belly through the low back. Every exhale, maybe feel your body relaxing or finding a little softness in different areas with every exhale. Maybe even your belly starts to relax. Try to keep breathing in and out through the nose here for a couple more breaths. If you're enjoying this position, feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. Whenever you're ready, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your chin and slowly roll your torso up off of your thighs. Feel free to bring your hands to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. Tuck your chin for a moment of gratitude. Finding gratitude for taking time today to care for yourself, to care for your mind, to care for your body. Sending light from my heart to yours. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to lift your head, and if you haven't already, blink your eyes open. Thanks for joining, everyone. Let me know how this went in the comments. I would actually really love to know if this helped anyone. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps me. It helps you stay notified of all the new videos, so it's a win-win. I'll see you next time. Thanks.